Hi everyone, welcome to Whose Escape Room Is It Anyway? An improv design adventure. So let's get started. Thanks for joining us today. It'll be a little odd not having like immediate audience feedback and seeing you guys out there, but we'll run with it and hopefully we'll see you guys providing some suggestions and whatnot in the Athos stream on Discord. There should hopefully be a link in the chat. If not, if we could get one up on there to the Discord, that would be great. So I'm Leanne, and above me, I think, is Aaron. We're the owners of Next Level Escape in Sydney.
Hello.
So yeah, we're an independent escape room that was a finalist in the Top Escape Rooms project, which had enthusiasts voting on their favorite rooms worldwide. So yeah, little room down under, it was pretty exciting for us. Now, what we're going to do today, if you've ever wondered what goes on behind the scenes of creating an escape room and how we come up with the ideas and designs, we'll create one on the spot based on your suggestions and feedback. So if you want to pop into the Discord, we'll get started. Anything else to add, Aaron?
No, did you want to do an intro spiel about our backgrounds, or do we want to do?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Right. So I got into escape rooms in a very strange way. I used to be an economist. I used to work for the Reserve Bank of Australia, which ironically during a quiet time isn't the most exciting job as an economist, but right now I'm sure it'll be much more exciting. But anyway, I jumped ship about 4 or 5 years ago to start Next Level Escape with a friend. And yeah, we've been building escape rooms ever since. Leanne joined very shortly after, and yeah, it's been a fun ride.
Yep. So yeah, I'm Leanne. I've got a background in IT and development, and yeah, ended up getting into the whole escape room scene after I started reviewing escape rooms with a friend. So we played quite a few, met Aaron and said friend, and now it's myself and Aaron. We're just building stuff, doing cool things, basically. So what we're going to do is, if you pop into the Discord, we're going to ask you guys for suggestions for a place you'd never take someone on a first date. We will use that place as a starting point for the escape room you design. So if you guys want to pop in there, start throwing in your suggestions. I'm just monitoring the stream at the Discord at the moment as well. While you guys are doing that, I do want to mention the point of this whole design adventure isn't to come up with the most original puzzles ever. We may mention mechanics that you've seen in other escape rooms, perhaps, because our focus is more on giving you guys an insight into the design process and how we get from concept to actual puzzles. So we want to show you guys how everyone designs differently, the various aspects we consider when creating a puzzle. And, you know, because we're here to have fun, some elements of the room may make it one time only. But we'll call that out so that you guys are aware.
For example, the sinking one, the suggestion there, that one's a little bit quite hard to reset the room for the games master, that's for sure. So this would probably be a one-off kind of room. So you may lose your the morgue, very ominous. Oh dear.
Yep. Yeah, we've got a CIA. We've got your escape from your mum's house. We've got a junkyard as well. And okay, so
the sinking submarine is not too bad. I mean, it's not too novel either. But it's like it's something unique. You could have the whole water rising thing if you wanted to go with the stranger.
Oh, we got one or two more. We've got escape from a funeral, escape from a hospital. Oh, escape from your grandma's house.
He's making a very nice meme, like Sunday roast or something.
Or she's making a very dangerous Sunday roast. that you can't actually, that you want to get away from before the roast comes out of the oven?
She's on a bender. Sounds like a lovely old lady.
What'd you say?
She's a bit vindictive. She's like, why do you have to get
Okay.
anyway?
Yep.
What do you reckon?
So I'm eyeing Sinking Submarine. I do like Grandma's House, Grandma's or Mum's House. I think that could be really amusing. I'm just like, sorry?
Yeah, you could create a humorous approach with the whole Grandma's House thing and like relate the sort of game style back to like some more real life things that you'd have in real life, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
Submarine would be interesting sort of mechanics.
Oh, weird mechanics.
Like,
Yes.
you know, pipes and like puzzles and things that you'd find in a sort of steampunk type of area.
You want to go?
I'm not sure. Which one would you go for? Do you prefer the thing?
Look, we could do Grandma's house. Like Grandma could have a secret submarine getaway. I don't know.
There is no limit on the imagination of what she has in her basement, I guess. So.
Yeah. Okay. So let's run with Grandma's house, and we'll go from there.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. So what's the goal then of going with the?
Yep. So So the next thing is what. So the other thing we're going to go, guys. We're going to go with Grandma's house. You're escaping from Grandma's house. What is like? Why are you escaping? What are you escaping from? If you want to throw some thoughts in there, and we'll keep running. Someone said maybe Grandma is survivalist.
Actually, that's not too bad either. Like she could have a whole bunch of locks of protection. Like maybe she's a survivalist and there's like the end times, the apocalypse is on us or something. You've got to access her stash, but Grandma's off like on a hunting adventure or something. I think very much so.
Wait, so you're at Grandma's house and your goal is to access a stash? Or you're at Grandma's house and someone said you want to stop, you don't want to become dinner for the next guest.
Grandma's supposed to seem to have much loyalty towards our you as her grandchild. It's like it seems to always be trying to like think the meal.
Yes. I did really like the survivalist suggestion, so maybe we can run with that. Like it is end times, it is virus times, and you have to and you've got to go after, and you've got to get to a stash. Or
starts off with a nice setting where you're at dinner with Grandma or something, and then some event happens. It's like, okay, got to go and defend the you defend the house from like whatever. Yeah. And so she realized, like later on, you realize you haven't been given access to her supplies, and you've got about I guess the usual time limit of an hour before I don't know, zombie horde attacks or something.
Oh, someone else did say Grandma's looking for the embarrassing baby pictures to share with your date.
Oh God, that's a good one too, actually.
Yes, I really like that one.
So more you have to do a live access style where you have
what if you're trying to get to the embarrassing baby pictures before Grandma does? So so you're at home, Grandma's just like, I'm just going to pop out, get dessert for you kids, and your date's off somewhere or something like that, and then we'll go with, and then you've got to try and find those baby pictures and destroy them before she comes back in an hour, because dessert's like 30 minutes away.
Okay, something like that sounds good. Sounds like we can run with that.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your suggestion. So we're going to run with that. The location is you're at Grandma's house. So you go into the room, you are somewhere in Grandma's house, and your goal is going to be to find your embarrassing baby pictures and destroy them before Grandma gets home from fetching dessert for you guys. So Where would we want to start? Like you open up, and when you first step into the room, where would you want to start off at?
Maybe we could do it the dinner table. Like, it's literally you're invited to grandma's house. You show up with your group of friends and or your date or whatnot, and you start like grandma gives you a usual introductory spiel, like the usual one that you give. Maybe the gamesmaster has to dress us up with a wig on and everything, and like, and
Yes.
well, to my house theories, and gives them a whole like, I've prepared a Sunday roast here, blah blah blah. They have a little chat, and it's like gives you a slight hint that she's going to look for these baby pictures, and then heads off into the into another room to look for dessert or whatnot, and you're like, oh dear, oh god.
Yep.
And then
Yep. Yeah, so I think that'd be good, because with escape rooms, like I think a lot of the design as well, like the introduction, how you ease the players into the whole into the scenario is really important. And if you can set the scene, if the GM can play a role, that it really adds another element to the thing. And even if the GM looks like a totally fake grandma with a fake voice, I think that just adds to the humor of it all. So, okay, so you're in the dining room and you've got to do, I think you'll need to, you'll know, you should be in the dining room and you'll know, oh no, she stores her baby pictures. She's like, the baby pictures will be stored, say, in her bedroom. So her bedroom probably should be like just stuff from the dining room. And you'll know that the,
she goes through that door and sort of locks it behind her, kind of thing. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Oh no, I was just more thinking she's like, I'm gonna go off for dessert, but points to her room, like, you know, my room. I will go afterwards, grab your baby pictures from my bedroom and show them around. You know, you'll love it, dearie. You know, everyone will love it, that kind of thing. And so, you know, straight off the bat, my first task is to get into her bedroom. Which, okay, breaking into grandma's bedroom, a little weird, but let's roll with this. So yes, you're in the dining room, and you know, first things first, you've got to get into a bedroom somehow. She could be pretty old-fashioned, just have a typical like padlock for her bedroom maybe, and so sorry.
Because all old-fashioned grandmas have a giant padlock on their door.
Definitely.
I mean, you can have it. Why not? Why not? We could also do like, yeah. I was just thinking of a puzzle we could do involving the dinner table setting or something with like the meals or something that were ordered as well. Like, you could create a little puzzle about that.
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be something to do with you've got to do something on the dinner table first, and when you've like, yeah, I really like the idea of setting the table. Maybe she asked you to like set the table first as well. So you could look at the dinner table and be like, okay, something to do with, so there's a puzzle around how you put the things on the table, like where you put the plates, all the cutlery, what position they're in, or even which plates and cutlery.
You could ask you to set the table or something and get it ready for dessert or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. And then, yeah, maybe at some point it's just like, I'll be back and it'll do something to get you closer to the baby pictures. So for that dining table setting puzzle, maybe we can just talk about like the puzzle as well, pull that out. Sorry, you go.
Yeah, you'd implement that probably is with, you'd have the table all set up and you'd stick a bunch of RFID readers underneath each sort of placemat setting, I reckon. That could work. Either that or you'd have a circular spot on the thing with magnets on the bottom, which could be protected with a read switch or something. So you know exactly. Oh no, it'd probably have to be the RFID actually, because plates are round in the orientation of the
yeah, the orientation, you don't want to have to make them go in a certain orientation, yeah. But you could use slightly different tech for, say, the plates and then like the fork and the knife or something like that. But then for the for the puzzle itself, like to know how to set the table, perhaps you could have pictures around the room And so what you're doing is you're actually looking at various pictures of the table from different angles. So you see like family dinners. So you've got pictures of like previous family dinners with like people just sitting around the table. And so you've got 3 or 4 from different angles, and they're just like around the room as your normal decorative things, you know, because grandmas always have photos of all of their grandmas have photos of all their kids, obviously, and all of their family things. And you've got to, and if she tells you to set the table, you can follow the pictures around the room and look at it. You know, you've got to make the connection and realizing that the photos are taken from different angles. You can see the place settings in them, and then you put down the plates and like the fork and the knife based on the pictures.
Cool.
So each person has their own plate.
What does that trigger? I was thinking you sit down, and when you've done it, and then when you've done that, the chairs all lash onto you, and you've now stuck at the table.
Oh.
Sadistic nature.
You can have
it
like
locks you.
Oh, so you're like locked onto the chair.
Yeah, it's like you put the seatbelt around you, so you're like, you get your hands and everything. You're sitting at the table, and then the actor can come back and be like, "Here's dessert, dearies," and they're like, "I still haven't found those photos yet, but I'm very close." And then it'll when you've got dessert, there might be another puzzle with the dessert in front of you or something.
Oh, you know what? It could just be that I just realized you start off and, you know, basically you don't know that she's going to get the things out yet. She just tells you set the table. The moment you set the table, then the next thing happens where she's just like, great, now I'm going to go get those photos. Like, if you want to lock them in, like, I mean, look, logistically, you will never actually be able to, you know, have someone sit down and lock them in. You would be killed by the authorities. Like, they would never let you open. But let's go with this. Theoretically, you sit down after you've set the table and, you know, the things come on, lock you in. And the grandma's like, great, now you're all seated. I will go get your photos. I will go get the baby photos, have a slideshow of all the most embarrassing ones. So we're deviating a little from the whole she's showing your date, but we're going to stop her from showing all of your embarrassing baby photos. Okay, so now you're locked into the chairs. Now you're locked into the chairs, you'll need to get out of them somehow. That should be the next step, yes?
Yeah,
If
I
you
think
wanted
so.
to have them locked in. Yep.
Yeah, having a locked in adds a bit of excitement to the room. And besides, this is not quite a potentially actually doable room given the situation with locking them in, but it's still a fun design concept to think about. So maybe I don't know, maybe it's like we have the Air Force style like seatbelt things or something with like some sort of dial lock on them or something. I don't know.
With a dial lock where you have to turn the dial in the right notches or something like that.
Oh, it's like I'm just trying to think of the mechanics of doing this, but it's actually quite unviable to lock somebody into a thing like and assume everybody's in the right spot. But just assume that they've been locked up and there's some sort of like number combination maybe on the thing or like or like just assume we can do that. And
well, you know what? It doesn't have to be a number combination. It could be you have to solve another puzzle, and when you do, someone at the table gets access to a button or it automatically unlocks you.
Oh right, okay. Maybe we've accidentally triggered grandma's like emergency
Survivalist.
something. Yeah, maybe we can go down that route now. And then we triggered her anti like I don't know apocalypse warning or something. And like everybody's been strapped in for some reason. Maybe the house is moving.
So someone did say, can we make it doable? Like you've got to try and prevent grandma from leaving the kitchen for her bedroom. So, I mean, that could actually be something interesting where you could create a puzzle around where she's just like, I'm coming back and you've got to block the door somehow.
Actually, that's good. So, yeah.
So instead of you being locked into the chairs, you solve it and she's just like, you've got a voiceover going. So if we're making this doable, okay? You've got a voiceover going that's just like, ha ha ha, you know, great job, dearie. you now, I'm just hold on a moment. I'm going to, when I get back, I will go find your baby picture, share it with everyone, and you're just like, okay, I've got to block the door.
Yeah.
And then
Okay,
you've
we can do
got like maybe some internal thing.
So she's gone through one door. The bedroom's clearly another door, which is locked at the moment. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you get up and you just got to figure a way to bar the door or lock the door somehow. So grandma is locked in the kitchen.
So you lock grandma into the kitchen, yes?
So I guess what you do there is maybe there's if she is this survivalist person, just a little bit, then probably might have bars on the doors or something. Maybe you have to unlock the big wooden log you stick on the door to like latch the door down like old style. Was that too much?
Oh yeah. So you've got a bar that's like up. You've got a bar that's upright, and it's locked in place. Oh my gosh, I can't draw, but you've got it there, and it is locked in place, and then yeah, it's chained up, and you know that if you can get the bar down, the door's like right here. So if
Yeah.
you can get the bar down, you've got the it'll sit in here, and it'll lock grandma into the kitchen.
Yeah, the survivalist sort of aspect adds a little bit of like credibility to these random contraptions you find in here. So it's a good idea to spinning you on an escape room narrative. It's a good idea to try and like at least make it plausible that some of the things exist in here.
Yes.
One of my pet hates is seeing something that doesn't quite make any sense whatsoever in a thematic environment. For example, say you're in like ancient Egypt and there are lasers for some reason, like high-tech interface in some way. So if you justify it somehow with the narrative, that's good. But if you're just actually in ancient Egypt and you expect to see that, then it's a little bit, it breaks the immersion. I feel that's my personal opinion on that.
Yeah.
But
Totally agreed.
Just in grandma's house with the whole she's a survivalist, it was a good touch, and it explains why, at least partially, why she's got a bar.
She could live in an old log cabin. Like you've gone out to see grandma. Oh my gosh, in the woods, clearly. So she's in an old, and it's like an old log cabin, and you know, grandma lives like that. It would, like, I mean, you could have one of those barred door things as well. So you've got a lock, and you've got to try and unlock that somehow. And maybe if like grandma is super fond of her grandchildren, right? So the lock is something to do with the grandchildren. So you'll see something around the lock. It's like a reminder to herself, where, you know, it's just like that's the thing that will nudge you towards the, you know, give signpost, basically, this is what you have to do. And some kind of reminder, grandma's reminder to self near the lock. That's like, okay, you know, this is something to do with my grandchildren, and you can, you know, play with that.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we'll just leave that as a vague sort of puzzle there. Like it could be a logic sort of style puzzle where you got to figure out which is the order of the favorite grandchild or something like that. And that's the order of their ages or something in their order, or
Yeah, like, oh, process of elimination of favorite grandchild. Like you'll have like, I mean, maybe you may not go photo albums again. You could have like letters from like some of the grandchildren to grandma, and then something to do with the letters that will help you work out who the favorite grandchild is by process of elimination.
yeah, I think we should probably
Yeah.
leave that one. Move on to the next thing. So once you've because I want to open another room. Like I feel like
Oh, yes. Okay.
once we block this door off, grandma's like hits a panic button.
Yep.
Maybe. Then a little underground bunker that you can go into with some strange artifacts like the survivalist cache. We'll go with that.
Okay, so so we will have to unlock her bedroom door somehow, but I guess we can play with that. Like, I mean, did you want to go through the puzzle for unlocking the bedroom door, or did you want to jump ahead to here is a survivalist? You know, we have unlocked it, and whoa, this is like actually her survivalist cache. But here's also where she stores all the baby pictures, so they will never be destroyed.
Oh no, it's more like they're in the bedroom still. It's just that there's a third door. So basically, when she hits the panic button, she's a narrative point where she's like, "Oh, I can't get out of the kitchen. Oh dear, something's happening." Presses the panic button, opens up the survivalist door thing, and also like lets grandma, I don't know, help her get out somehow. So there's still a time thing. She maybe climbs out the window or something, comes around. But I was
True.
just thinking you could
Wait. So you're saying she hits a panic button of some sort, and because you're in the dining room, right? At what point did we progress to the bedroom? I missed that.
No, we didn't. We haven't.
Oh,
The panic
okay.
room.
So, oh, the
Another
panic
door.
room opens up. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So, yeah.
no?
Yeah, no, let's run with that. So she's in the, so when you manage to lock her in, you hear sounds played over the thing, where you've got like, where you hear like her banging on the door and she's like, don't worry, I'm coming. Just let me hit my panic button over here. She hits it and, you know, she's just like, get down in here for safety. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
And that sounds good and plausible too. And then you go down into there and you realize that the key to opening the bedroom door wasn't upstairs anyway. It's like there was no way you're going to get in. Like you have to go through a survivalist stash some way to do that.
yep.
Maybe
Grandma be paranoid.
it's
Yeah.
fine. So I guess
Like, and
there's like
so I will say, so that you don't confuse players too much, when you go down there, it would need to be very clear, like something very clearly signed that says, here is grandma's bedroom key. And you need to know from the start, okay, this is like the ultimate thing I need to do. Like grandma's bedroom key is hidden in here at some point. You're like, whoo, I got lucky.
Oh, you're right about that actually. Yeah. Okay. The fact that you're sort of moving away from the door is a little bit of a yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
downstairs,
because
right at the bottom at the other end of the survivalist sort of bunker is the grandma's key with a spotlight on it inside a giant glass case or a giant bulletproof
yep,
glass case.
bulletproof glass case. Grandma's spare key to her bedroom. Grandma's spare key. And
What?
so, yeah. And so you've got to go through that somehow. Like, I mean, I will say the first room, we didn't have too many puzzles, but I would say normally for each room, you'd want, you know, like what, 3 or 4 puzzles, something like that, to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like when I say puzzles, I mean like layered puzzles. Yeah. So, then you go downstairs to panic room. Panic.
Okay. So what can we have in the panic room?
Yep. So
What's the items
things
we
that the survivalist grandma would have. Like, I'm thinking things like, you know, you've cases of like bottled water, cases, you've got tinned food. You could do a puzzle with tinned food actually.
or toilet paper?
Toilet paper. Gotta be
Even though
toilet
we've
paper.
been here in Australia for quite some time, as people have been buying that a lot for some reason.
Yeah.
Toilet paper.
So I mean, you could do something with like the number of rolls of toilet paper, the weight of it, something that will get you to the thing. Or
You have what are the brands in terms of their quality and like there's 3-ply and 2-ply and 1-ply in order of which ones you should use first in a survival situation. Organization of a stash, so you maybe have to organize the toilet paper and all, the food and
What if you
organize
had a touch kind of puzzle? Like, so you have to try and identify like the toilet paper by feel. As in, because we just haven't had a touch puzzle yet, right? And I'm thinking it's, you want to try and engage a few different senses, where you've got, like, maybe it's just like, you've got the boxes or something like that. You've got something where you've got to reach in and you've got to feel the toilet paper. Or you've just got the different squares of toilet paper, because I guess I don't know how much the look is important, but then, you know, you've got the different branding on the packs. It's like super soft or patterned or 1-ply.
I guess so each brand would have a different number value potentially. We just got a simple puzzle with this one. Like you just have to figure out the order in this sort of like constructed box thing that you made, I guess. Yeah. But it's hidden from pictures. Let's figure out, okay, so this is definitely toilet paper number 1. This texture is clearly the soft bit. And then that becomes based on the number on the toilet paper sort of bag or something. So okay, that's this number. So what does that open?
Yeah. So, okay, so hold on. So just very quickly to recap, you've got like 4 squares of toilet paper in an order. You work out which one is which by feeling it and using the labels on the toilet paper pack. And that'll give you a number because it's just like, you know, there's just like maybe the name of the toilet paper company has a number in it or something like that. So you've got, say, 4, you've got 4 things there. And so, I mean, that could open something else. Like it could open the next stage. You could have to like progress through her. You could have to progress through her panic room where you see her spare bedroom key at the end, and so you're just like, okay, I've solved the toilet paper, and that opens the lock on the door where you've got, you know, the bars that you can see through. The bar door opens, and then you move on to the next one where you're just like, okay, what does she store in this next room?
That's good actually, because you have a huge series of cages that go you can see through them all, cages, and you see the first cage you get into the toilet paper one, and the next one whatever we choose. And there's like 2 or 3 of them, and you can see right through to the end, see where the goal is, but you can't access because there's like a door on one side and then a door on the other side in the other room, and you go like zigzag through you go through a little I think that's cool.
Yeah.
So the first the paper. So what else is something? Do you want to open this up to people in the chat? See like what else do you store in a survivalist sort of bunker that's kind of cool?
Yes. Give us random whatever you've got that you would throw in that you would find in a survival bunker.
Scented candles for a smell puzzle.
Cat food?
Cat food.
Oh no, taste puzzle. Let's not go there, but taste puzzle.
In escape rooms, and especially during the current climate. We have one puzzle in one of our rooms that is it detects moisture. We've only had one person lick it so far, so that's definitely a just one.
Yeah.
We sterilized it afterwards, obviously. But, doesn't happen too often. Taste puzzle.
Yeah.
The smell's definitely doable.
Although at one of the places, I think we had to tell people like use all your senses except taste for Dr. D. So it was like, yeah, smell but don't taste. But I mean, you know, if we're going to go a little, okay, so someone's got fishing line, hand sanitizer, clothing or things to make clothes with.
We could do the smell puzzle with the hand sanitizer and sort of have it along those lines. Like you've got to smell which one's the aloe vera one versus the peppermint or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so grandma in room 2 has just like floor to ceiling, wall to wall shelves of different kinds of hand sanitizer, like just huge boxes, one box of like, you know, 4 different kinds of hand sanitizer.
They can very easily do a smell puzzle based on that quite simply. Just again, with each one is labeled with a certain number or letter, whatnot, and you just have to figure out like there's a few mounted in a thing. You smell each of them, and then the order becomes.
Yep. Or you could like place them, in certain places, right? So you've got like 4 bottles of hand sanitizer, and then, you know, you've just got to smell them and put the bottle onto like a stand beside the door, something like that. So it's more tactile. Like you don't want to go too many, like from what we found, you just don't want to go lock. It's not as fun. People really, really love it when they have that tactile element to it. Like we have a logic puzzle in one of our rooms, and I think the original plan was to just, you know, like this was like years back, I should note, but the original plan was just give them a piece of paper and they can, you know, do it on a paper logic puzzle style. But then when you decided to, we'll make the actual things, we'll make the actual like rooms and whatever, and books and whatever else we need, so that you can move them around, like actually move them, and people love it to bits. Like it adds a different dimension to what would normally be a, you know, typical logic puzzle.
Essentially, in that case, created the logic puzzle grid, but in a physical space, but not actually a grid. It was more like a cubby to put your different belongings in. So it worked out quite well. There's this of elimination. Like instead of putting X's in this logic grid thing, you basically put the object in, and then obviously you by intuition, the X is in, because you can't use it elsewhere.
Yep.
Um,
So
okay.
yeah, for this one, I would say definitely you want to have an actual object where you're putting the things on the, so you can smell the bottles, open them up, smell them, put them in the right spots. Really, really simple puzzle. And yeah, so that'll open the next
The next
door.
one, I think, should have all the power tools and stuff. There's a suggestion for about power, batteries and flashlights and stuff. So I think that's cool.
Did you see the suggestion for gin?
Gin. Oh, gee.
Gin. But
to be fair, alcohol in a escape room is usually not a good idea in any sense of the word.
but yes.
Yeah, people are usually not very good at having drinks. That's for sure. We need to move on. We need to get to the. So I think that maybe a quick puzzle.
One more. I think one more puzzle and I think something that's a little more cool where you're playing with whether you're playing with shadow, playing with light, playing with sound of some kind, something a little different this time. If we want to try that.
You have to identify the objects like in some sort of environment by like you move a light source and you can sort of see the shadow of the object and you got to determine whether it's a power tool, a light bulb, a battery, a flashlight, or something like that. Like you have to identify based on the shadow, and you can move the shadow. So it starts off in a way that you can't tell what it is, but there's like a little jig that lets you move the shadow around it, and the shadow on the back of the wall in the other last room or something, you can see it. It becomes like if you move in the right spot, there's like a power tool there, and then next to it is like a flashlight, and then there's like some, I don't know, another power tool on the other side, another one. And you're in a room with all these items with numbers on every item. It's like this is power tool number 7, whatever. So
or even like, I mean, we keep coming back to numbers, but you don't necessarily have to make it numbers, I guess. Like, I mean, right now, because we are making this up on the spot, is probably the easiest way, but a lot of the time you want to have them do something different, again, the whole physical thing instead of entering stuff into a lock.
In this case, do the same placement item thing, or you can literally like you have to put the tools in like a box, like there's the ordering of. Well, you can do it. You can do a tactile version where you place the items in the order, but to figure out the order, I think it's cool to have like the device where you shadows appear in order on the wall in the back room, and that's the order you put them in.
Yeah. So you kind of like shine the torch. So it's just like the jig where you're moving around or you're just like moving it left and right, and you can just see the shadows cast. And so then when you've seen the shadows.
Somebody said the codes could be the silhouettes of the images as well. Like you could have them make the numbers or something as well. That's
yeah. Like you can see it made out of like a power tool, kind of like like if you've got a drill in this shape. Wait, I don't know how it's coming across on my thing, but it looks like a bit like a 7 or a 4. Like you could have also numbers in that way, or words, something like that.
That said, we have a puzzle which is not like that, but people think is like that.
That's true.
Do with the puzzle numbers at all, nothing at all, but people just assume, oh, this like Allen key looks like a 7, so it must be a 7. But it's not.
No, that one's slightly different. But yeah, so you could have it that way, and so you'll see the tools, and so you've got tools in that room, and you're moving the jig, you're shining the light source is different based on whatever tools. So you can work out the numbers from that. And then you get into, we'll just say you get in the final room and you have Grandma's bedroom key. So we've got 10 minutes left. Let us hurry up and get into the bedroom. This would be more of like a 40-minute escape room if we were doing this, but yes, 30 to 40. Anyway, so you get to so you've got Grandma's bedroom key, you go back out and you unlock the key 2, and you unlock her bedroom. So now you are in Grandma's bedroom, which I think it would be amusing to have like frills and lace and everything everywhere in stark contrast to like survivalist crazy stuff that you saw downstairs.
So sorry, when you say frills and lace, do you mean what about like ropes tied to the bed and?
Oh no. We probably need to keep this PGA.
Pretty things like little little those nice plates and stuff with art designs on them, like pink stuff and like this nice like old grandma crochet and that sort of stuff. Is that what you're thinking?
Oh yes, but then you've got like knitting needles, and you just notice like there's some blood on the end of them and that kind of thing too.
Okay, so like at first glance, but when you look a little bit deeper, it turns out, oh dear, grandma is very much very
You have a
defensive.
little bit of a yes. And so like I think in here you've got to have something that clearly flags. By the way, this is grandma's. This is grandma's. This is what where all the baby photos are. Grandma's baby photo stash. And it's locked away. It could be locked away, say like in her bedside drawer. And yes, like Dolores Umbridge's office. Sorry, I was not looking at Discord as much before, but something like that. So yes, so maybe her photos are locked away in the side cabinet, or in something really big and weird, like in an ammo cabinet. That's where she keeps her your embarrassing photos.
Right. Or in a giant safe, or literally, well, that's very common. Like, or we can have like literally a podium and a thing with like just like the lights on it, just like this is the baby photo shrine to my grandchildren.
Yes. Yes, baby photo shrine. And yeah, so you see it right there, and you're just like, and I think at this point as well, you can have a bit of voiceover from grandma, going like, I'm on my way. I'm just coming out and around trying to find a lock to get in back into the cabin, or something that really pushes the time pressure aspect when you get into the final room, just so that it amps up the excitement. Like, I'm not personally a fan of the ones where it's just like, when you get to this stage, we don't care how much time you have left. You only have 5 minutes to do this or you fail. So I definitely wouldn't want to go down that way, because it feels like you're cheating people out of more time.
In the fun, you and the game master, but essentially like you're like changing the like, oh, now I've got 5 minutes. I thought I had 20.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay, cool.
Yeah.
You did.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we've only got a few minutes left. We've got to get to the baby photo shrine somehow. And you are in grandma's room. It could be something to do with
ropes around the room that you pull in a certain order.
pulling ropes is
Not the
very fun, very satisfying.
Yeah, so like maybe each of the ropes in the room are like in each of the corners or something, and they have something to do with. I don't know.
It could be to do with she's got like some crazy knitting projects going on. Like the ropes are her knitting projects, because this is like survivalist granny, right? So she does not knit sweaters. She knits like ropes that you can take with you if you need to escape, if you need to like make a quick escape or something.
She's rigged up a little bit of a rig that lets you access her baby photos as well as her like, I don't know, survivalist crossbow or something as well. So they're just hidden in there at the same time.
Yeah.
I just think we need to wrap up the sort of final thing now.
Yep, yep. So you do want the final thing to be, so if look, we don't have much time. Normally this takes us hours to like work through a room, but normally you'd have a few puzzles before you get to like your big final climactic whatever you're doing. And yeah, so that final thing you want to be a pretty big deal. You want to have like at least one really big wow moment in the room. So yeah, what should be our like super awesome wow moment? Actually, the wow moment should be the revelation of the baby photo shrine. Like there should be something that's just like baby photos in here, and the wow moment is like a curtain that you couldn't move before. Like maybe it's more solid, it just looks like a curtain and it just drops, or it like comes apart to reveal the baby photo shrine where you can then be like incinerate it all.
The ropes pull the curtain apart or something. You've got to basically, everybody in the room's got to pull one of the ropes at a certain thing, and then at that point, then you can see the baby photos, I guess, or something like that. And then when you can see them, like, pretty simple, I guess. Maybe at that point, just basically you could get them something.
Yeah. So it's a good one because then you have everyone working together. Like the elements where people are actually have to be in the space and feel like they have to be together in that space to make it unique as an escape room, and not like, you know, I am solving one Facebook puzzle after another, is really good. So that's why, you know, like if you've got a puzzle where you've got the ropes all around the room and you're pulling them and everyone has to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you've got to do it within like 5 or 6 seconds, and everyone has to go quickly and coordinate well. And that would be your final puzzle. The curtains open. You see the you see this shrine of baby pictures, and you can incinerate them, and that is the room.
Yeah. My grandma comes in and say, "Oh no, what have you done?" And then
What? Pulls out a gun.
Yeah. What have you done?
She loves
okay,
you too
cool.
much.
So I guess to recap, you're invited over to grandma's. She's like, "Okay, cool, dinner. This is great." You basically have to. What's the first puzzle again? You sit at the table and you got to.
You set the table based on photos around the room.
Yep, set the table based on photos around the room, and then she's like, "I'm going to eat dessert." You have to lock her in the kitchen. You lock her in the kitchen with the lowering the bar thing. Then the panic activates. Go downstairs. You go through phases of going through toilet paper to hand sanitizer, and then there's shadows with power tools. You finally get the key to a bedroom. You get into a bedroom, and
Solve some
you've got
puzzles.
to pull the ropes. Solve the puzzle about the sort of order of the ropes in certain time, and then it drops a curtain, and there's a shrine to the baby photos right there. You nab them, you run out, and you sit on them or something, like while grandma comes out and like serves you dessert. You have a great ending there with nice dessert. And then she's like, "Oh, I must have misplaced them."
That would be kind of awesome. Like, yeah, the GM's grandma comes back in, tries to find photos, cannot find them, and you're like, you've got them hidden somewhere, and she's just like, "Oh well, let's have dessert."
Oh, yeah. Yes, kind of happy. And your date runs screaming away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that might be an accurate ending to this one.
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's reasonably. Hopefully that that showed you guys sort of a way of like how we think about some of the puzzles you go through.
Yep.
Yeah, some of the questions.
We're gonna have questions. I think we've got like 1 minute left, but maybe we can take like 1 or 2 really, really quick ones. Like stop us if not. But yeah. Sorry, it was very hard to just like try and talk and think and follow everything in Discord, but I was following the stuff. Loved your suggestions. I think Aaron was too, so we were both following it, loving your suggestions. So yeah.
Whose date it was. I guess you bring your friends to your escape room, though. So
yeah, it's a group date. It's everyone's date, and she's bringing out the photos. But yeah. So question, how often do we get to design new rooms? Well, normally, because the two of us are just like, we're the entire team, it pretty much goes, we get to design them as often as we can build. So as fast as we can build them, we will pretty much build a new room and then design them. The build, everyone asks how long is a piece of string? I don't know what happened to you, Aaron, but you've gone dodgy. But essentially a room build can take anywhere from like 2 to 3 months to say like 5 or 6 months, depending on complexity. And so we design new rooms like each time we finish one. We don't replace our rooms very often though, I will say, just because it takes a very long time to build the room itself. Do you have anything to add, Aaron?
Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
I just wondering if I can. Yeah, well, it depends also on the quality. Like when we started out, the room quality was a little bit lower, but now we put a lot more effort into the quality, which adds the time, definitely. Necessary tech for these. We build pretty much all our tech from the components. Yeah, I like to learn about the new tech stuff a lot. Like when I started, my hobby was electronics, wasn't my job, and I turned my hobby into my job. So that was really cool. So tech-wise, we basically rig up our own. We connect Arduinos to RFID things, and we code it all ourselves. And on the tech side, we also build most of the crops now with a laser cutter, which we've acquired in my garage, which is cool.
Yeah.
So it's actually preventing me from moving my house, well, moving unit anytime soon. But yeah, we have to learn new tech stuff, new edge every time we build something new, which is part of the fun of the job, actually.
Yep. Yeah. How many rooms do we have at a time? Right now we have 2 locations. One location has 4 rooms. The other one has 2. Obviously, everything is closed down at the moment, but we are creating an online version of one of the escape rooms where you can play everything online. It's not a Zoom thing or anything. You're literally in control. It's also not fully virtual, so you know it's like we're using a lot of photographs as well. That kind of thing where you'll feel like you're in the room, but we also got some cool tech behind it, like coding tech. So yeah, I guess technically we have 1 extra room there. So we've got what, 4, 5, 6, 7 rooms total. And then someone said, what was the best escape?
Should be coming out in a week. It should
yes,
be
it'll
the
be out
room
in a
with
week.
online. I'd say it's the closest you can be to actually doing an escape room without actually physically being there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you're interested, like it's at our site, nextlevelescape.com.au. Keep an eye on that. It should be coming out in a week, and you'll be able to play that there. Next question then. Best escape room you have personally done is so I've not had the chance to travel to America and do escape rooms yet. I have heard amazing things about them. For us, we're pretty much like, my thing will be limited to, well, both of our things will be limited to Australian escape rooms. One of them for me in terms of environment was, one of the ones I most enjoyed was the Cypher Room. They do excellent theming. So they do great ones there. There's also one here called Expedition where they combine theming with just some really smart puzzles and good mechanics where it wasn't just, obviously opening locks the whole time. Aaron?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with the Expedition one. I really enjoyed that one too. There's one in Canberra, I think it's called the Hotel by Riddle Room. That was pretty good as well.
Yes, Riddle.
They
have some really cool stuff
as well. Obviously our rooms are awesome too. But yeah, there are a few in Sydney and in Australia in general that are pretty good. But I think it's a different style to American. I'm not sure. I haven't actually tried any American rooms, but we'll have to do that at some point when this quarantine stuff is over.
Yes, when we can travel again. And so I think we've got to go now because I have a feeling all the other presenters are coming in. So we will end this here. I will continue answering. Well,
yeah.
if you want to question us, sorry.
This is Nick. Yeah, this is a good point to stop. And thank you both. And I can dismiss you out, so no need to close out of it on your end. But
Thank you
feel
for coming,
free to
guys.
smile and wave and all that.
Bye.
Bye, guys.